Evil Squid Comics Podcast, episode 14.
14? That's
Woo-hoo. That's it. It seems like we've been doing this for years. It's like we've done hundreds of episodes, but it's only episode 14, Don.
Wow.
I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
And every other week we get together and we talk about all the comic books that we've read. And we talk about movies and TV shows that may or may not have anything to do with comic books.
Ooh, I got a TV show to talk about.
Big news, though.
Is it Punisher?
Avengers trailer. Did you see that?
I did see it. I was underwhelmed.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What did you think?
I liked it. I mean, they just showed. I didn't think it showed too much. Just enough to kind of. Just enough to kind of get your.
Get you all excited for it.
Yeah, get you a little excited. Yeah.
Who's the lady running beside? That looks like the female Black Panther.
It's the female Black Panther. No, I don't know who it is.
Somebody else from.
Maybe she's from the Black Panther.
Those are all Wakandans, right? Big giant.
I would assume so. We don't know yet since we haven't seen Black Panthers.
They weren't Skrulls? I thought they were Skrulls.
I imagine that we're going to find out in Black Panther that they have the last Infinity Stone or whatever the heck it is.
And, maybe Thanos.
And so that's where Thanos is coming to get it. So that's probably the big climax to get that stone. Who knows?
The only one I saw, he only had like 2 stones on his little thing.
Yeah,
and one of them be ripped off of Vision's head.
But that wasn't one of them.
But Vision's head was not one of them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was blue and
he had
purple.
2 before that?
Yeah,
they
and then he shows the blue and the purple.
Yeah,
and they show him pulling it out of Vision's head, and then you see something drop in there. But that was not the same one. Yeah, it was the blue one that he probably got for the Tesseract. Yeah, oh yeah,
It's out of order.
I imagine.
I liked it on Thanos Quest when he ran around and got all the stones from the guard or the what are they called?
Elders.
The Elders of the Universe.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That's how they should have done it. Just like the comic.
Really?
Like it.
Yeah, there's like a 2-issue miniseries called Thanos Quest, and it was about him going and getting all the Infinity Gems from the Elders of the Universe.
The Elders of the Universe.
Yes, he had to beat each one of them and gain their gem.
I know. Read it.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Starlin wrote it. And drew. No, did he draw it? No, I think Ron Lim drew it.
When did that come out?
91.
Okay. So when did the actual Infinity Wars or Infinity?
Shortly after. This was like the prequel to it. He got all the gems, and then they had the big Infinity Gauntlet was the first one. Then that sold so well, they did Infinity War, which was not near as good. Then they did Infinity Crusade, which was probably the worst of them all.
And all that came out in the 90s?
Early 90s,
really?
I think.
Oh, we don't. I thought that was even further back than that. Okay.
Is it Abyss? Is that part of it?
Infinity Abyss, yeah, like in 2000 or late 90s,
like
they made like an Infinity Abyss, which was like a sequel kind of, but it was not very good either. It was very metaphysical.
That's what we should do. We should go back and read all of the Infinity stuff.
Probably should before we see the movie.
I shouldn't.
When's it come out?
May.
Okay.
We have time.
You got plenty of time.
Cool.
Because Black Panther's got to come out first, and that's February.
Yeah. Oh, I finally saw Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was enjoyable, yeah.
Hey, that's good.
I
finally agree.
I tried to see it.
You didn't try very hard. You saw like a crowd of people at the movie theater and you went home.
And I waited in line for 10 minutes and it didn't move. And I had 10 more minutes before the movie started. And I wasn't getting to the front of the line.
Was that downtown or something?
No, it was in Derby.
Oh.
I think they had some kind of a school function or something. So there was a bunch of kids running around. And it wasn't really a line, it was just a horde of people that don't know how to have a line.
That's a problem.
Like a mob.
A mob. I hate mobs.
So yes, I watched The Punisher on Netflix.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
A lot of people say it's not very good. I've heard very mixed things. Some people really like it, some people really don't.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's like a slow burn, and then at the end you get like the crap load of action that you've been craving like the whole time.
Yeah, but
it seems to be almost the problem with all those.
But with a Quentin Tarantino movie, there's really good dialogue leading up to
that. Yeah, I don't think it was bad dialogue. I think they just drug it out too long.
And that seems to
I've
be
never felt that way with the Quentin Tarantino movie. But yeah, that is the Netflix.
The Netflix way.
What I'm saying is they drug it out too long.
Yeah, I felt Daredevil. I thought Daredevil was drug out too long.
The second Daredevil season 2 was better though because it was almost like 2 stories.
Gotcha. I never saw season 2.
Right, I know. I'm just telling you.
I've only watched episode 1.
Season 2. Season 1.
Yeah, that's the only one I saw.
Yeah, someone on Facebook said they should make them like 8 episodes.
Yeah, it was too long.
Yeah.
What are they? A dozen?
Is it 10 or 12?
13.
13.
12 or 13.
Doesn't work if you don't have enough story.
But I liked it. I like it because I called it like halfway through the end. I called the ending. Are you ever gonna watch it?
Yeah, I might.
Do you want me to not spoil it?
I'd prefer you not spoil it.
You can see it coming though.
Okay.
If you're like a Punisher fan. But anyway, I called the ending.
Cool. That shouldn't be that hard to do since you've read all the comics.
Right, but
you kind of have an advantage. It's like I read the book and then I watched the movie. I knew how the movie was going to end.
No,
I mean that's kind of what it's like. It's not really a calling it. I mean you've seen it before.
But no. Well,
is there a time warp and he ends up back in Vietnam?
No.
That would be cool. And then Punisher season 2 is like him in Vietnam. Now that I would watch.
There's a lot of blood.
I've heard it's pretty gory, which is probably why I won't watch it anytime soon.
But there's not a lot of it. Like the last 2 or 3 episodes where
you just said there's a lot of blood.
Yeah, in the last 2 or 3 episodes, there's not a lot of action in it.
Wow, that sounds even worse.
It's him and Micro sitting around.
That sounds horrible. You're not really selling it.
Well,
all right.
I liked it.
You liked it, okay.
I liked it. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it wasn't the worst thing ever.
Okay.
But for everybody that's watched it, that's listening, I called it like 7 episodes.
We got it, Don. You called it. You knew how it was going to end.
I turned to Barbara and I go,
do you want a cookie?
I think they're going to do this. And she's like, and then they did it at the end.
And she was still like,
I called Usual Suspects in the theater watching it.
Oh, that's good. I did not.
Well, for your homework.
And I called 7 as well, like right as they're doing there's like box. I was like, it's her head in the box.
Yeah, that wasn't that hard though.
Okay, fine.
Right, well,
but I did call Usual Suspects.
You should watch Punisher.
Should be impressive.
That's your assignment. You watch Punisher and you let me know when you figure it out.
I don't have 13 hours to watch Punisher.
It's like 45 minutes each episode.
Either way. Not going to happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding.
2 weeks? I did it in like 3 days.
I have a hard enough time watching, what was it, Stranger Things in like a weekend.
I haven't watched season 2
I like that.
I got 2 into that and I haven't finished the 2nd season.
I really like that show. That's still a struggle to give me the time to watch that.
Yeah, not gonna happen, but it's
nice sentiment. I'll tell you what happened.
I do want to go back and read all of Garth Ennis's Punisher run though.
Good for you.
And I caught up on Punisher too.
Oh, there you go. Because you were in a Punisher mood.
I was. Punisher mood. There you go. So you like Thor?
Yes, I did like Thor. It was fun. It was funny. It had some fun action. At some points it felt a little too formulaic or the same kind of Marvel type movie. Like there was a point where they were all fighting a bunch of horde of like creatures, and it was just like, oh look, we'll look at this character for 10 seconds and they'll fight a bunch of people. Then we'll go to Loki, he's gonna fight, and then we'll go to Thor, he'll fight a bunch, then Valkyrie. It's just kinda like that whole, in that way it just wasn't very original or inventive. You know what I mean? But it was enjoyable.
Isn't that though how a lot of the comic books still go in general?
Yeah, I guess so.
You usually have the splash page
same trope.
of all the spice of things.
True. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I just realized today I didn't know that Marvel has a new editor-in-chief.
C.B. Cebulski, because Axel Alonso got the can.
He got fired?
Was
it a sexual harassment fire?
No. He just it's called Marvel's low sales got fired.
So they fired him. Okay.
Yeah. He decided to pursue other opportunities.
Yes.
So he's going to DC with Bendis? Because I don't think their sales could get any lower.
It's true, but at least I don't know. It's weird,
I don't know. I don't keep track of sales.
I keep track of sales, and it seems like DC sales aren't great, and Marvel is still beating them. But Marvel's also putting out a lot more books, and it seems like Marvel is doing a lot of incentives to kind of flood the markets to boost their numbers, whereas DC isn't, and
right, because DC doesn't do special covers.
Well, they do.
But they said that they don't.
They do those lenticular ones.
Yeah, but they came out a while ago and go, "Oh, we're not gonna do this. Because Marvel's just flooding the market with all these incentives. We're not gonna do covers."
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Marvel technically is winning, but apparently by not enough. So, and Marvel's sales have been kind of down quite a bit. I mean,
so yeah, I didn't
pretty
know.
brutal.
And then he took some heat because he used to write under a synonym.
Yeah, I saw some stuff about that.
Of some Asian person.
Yeah, like Yoshiro or something. Yeah.
Oh well.
I saw Justice League.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it's a good popcorn flick, I guess.
Okay, so rank it.
Was it a
rank
good
it?
popcorn? Rank it among what?
Amongst the DC extended universe movies. So we got Man of Steel, we got Batman vs Superman, we've got Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad and Justice League.
Well, I don't know.
Where's it at?
I don't know if you would agree too much on that one because you guys both hated Wonder Woman.
But you liked Wonder Woman.
I did like Wonder Woman. I still think Wonder Woman then is the best.
Is the best. Okay, yeah, that's why I know your rank.
And so then from after that, then it would be Justice League.
So Justice League is not as good as Wonder Woman.
It's
but
not as good.
Better than all the other ones.
It is by far better than Batman vs Superman, which I would always put on the bottom. Suicide Squad is much better than as well. Okay. Man of Steel, I enjoyed the time of the Man of Steel had some problems there, especially.
It wasn't a horrible movie.
It wasn't a horrible movie, but it seemed to drag out way too long for what it was. And so I would go above that, just above it. So it's in between.
It's the second best
MCU
movie.
So there you go. But it still probably ranks below like almost every Marvel movie, with the exception of maybe like say the Hulk or something,
So
you went back and watched the Hulk.
Was it?
It wasn't that good.
That's what I told you, and you're like, "Oh, it was good," and I'm like, "No, the abomination scene was an abomination."
I enjoyed it at the time, but I mean,
which Hulk are you talking about?
Edward Norton.
The Ed Norton one.
Okay.
Yeah. Ang Lee one's awesome. That's a great movie. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah. It had some interesting style choices, but
I do like that movie. Just
so
did it like a.
Did it have a Zack Snyder feel?
That's your well. That is your problem with Justice League. It feels like you can definitely. I shouldn't say definitely. I definitely got the feeling there was two people involved. You have the Zack Snyder, typical kind of dark and whatever type stuff with maybe this little try to be a tinge of humor, and then you have Joss Whedon's sharp wit, dialogue, whatever else, which is almost always humorous in some way or shape or form, type thing, a little sarcastic, whatever. And so you get that feel. In fact, there was even some parts in there in which but this really isn't much of a spoiler because they show it in the trailers if you've seen any of the trailers. But the Aquaman comes out, like seeing Batman in the suit the first time, he's like, dressed like a bat. I dig it, that type of thing. Right. Well, actually, in the same film, like an hour before that scene happens, he's walking with Aquaman down by the pier or something, and he says, "Oh, so you dress like a bat, huh? Okay, whatever." So it's like, you dressed it twice? Did you really have to? It seemed like one was probably shot by one guy, one was probably shot by another guy to give a humorous tinge, So that's the problem with it. And for the actors bring it. Really? All of them. I felt like Jason Momoa, I think, does great as an Aquaman, kind of whatever you want to say, grunge type thing. He's very humorous and kind of more relatable than I would have thought. No, that's okay. Was the Flash? He does a whole lot better than I thought. He's kind of the comic relief though overall. So, but he does a decent job. In fact, a lot of people that was their favorite character, and stuff of that nature. At least from like the general public of people, that I talk to that have seen it. Cyborg, he definitely struggles. Part of it is because this is kind of his origin, type thing in this, in which he was created from whatever. I
don't know why he's there.
Yeah, and he's too serious, in some of this. He's still learning his powers, things of this nature.
I'm not a huge Cyborg fan. I don't know why he's in Justice League.
Not to say that
they put him in the new Justice League, New 52 comic.
I understand that.
That's why he's in there.
But, Ben Affleck, as much as I think he's still, even in Batman vs. Superman, I thought as a Bruce Wayne, he does very good. And here again, he still does good, I think, as a kind of a Bruce Wayne character, even as an older, aging Batman, type stuff. Say what you will about Wonder Woman. I think she still does a good job in this one. There's another enjoyable player in it. And for me, I thought, this isn't really a spoiler, I hope, but Superman, his Henry Cavill probably. It felt like here again, Joss Whedon. Everybody gave him credit, and things of this nature for finally doing justice to the Hulk. When Avengers came in, I felt probably more that way when it came to Superman in some ways. Because it seemed like in Zack Snyder's Superman world, and things of this nature, Superman is very down, whatever, serious.
Somber.
That's right. This type of thing. He's still the Boy Scout and whatever. He lightens up in this one a bit more, where he's joking, a little bit, and things of this nature, which was, to me, a bit more Superman. Superman was, you tried to find ways to make this guy relatable, even though he had more powers than everybody else. But, he sometimes could show human emotions more than even, more humans could. So it does good there, but the bad guy, Steppenwolf, is awful, type thing. I mean, essentially, it's like they looked at, hey, what was successful in the Marvel Universe? Hey, let's look at the Avengers and let's copy that over. It's 3 boxes this time, or 3 cubes instead of 1 cube, and a guy from like another dimension or something like this brings another race of something from God knows where into the Earth to go take over the Earth, and for God knows why.
They use Darkseid or something.
So, well, they make him because they want to build up this universe, because they make
them up.
That's right. He's their Thanos. So they make mention of Darkseid.
Well, Thanos is kind of like a Darkseid.
So
I get that.
He is. They're trying to do the same thing.
How's the CG no stash?
You can definitely tell. I think in a couple spots, type things. But,
so it's not money well spent.
Yeah, I don't think so. But you could definitely tell something was going on there. But there's a couple of. That's the problem though that I think happens throughout this. There's individual scenes that are really fantastic, but as a whole, the movie stumbles. It just feels a little disjointed. It's so quick. I mean, hell, the thing clocks in under 2 hours.
I know.
So
that was another thing. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
I was reading Facebook and someone had posted something about Saw Justice League. It was great. I don't care what you think. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And someone had commented on it. It was too short. It needed about 45 more minutes.
No, it does not.
What?
Yeah, and I don't think.
Oh my God!
It depends, if they added 45 minutes that were worthwhile, type things, or 30 minutes or something like this. But it does seem that. But the problem is that it really doesn't have. There's not really much there.
I think that's okay.
You're right. It is okay,
especially for like a popcorn flick. It's like,
that's
why
right.
do they want?
It goes quick. It's a popcorn, and that's why it's fairly. I think it's enjoyable.
2 hours and 45 minutes in Batman versus Superman, and you got 2.5 hours in Wonder Woman, and so now people are trained that they need all that.
But you don't need all that.
I know you don't. But people are trained now that you need it.
The Thor, I think, clocks in at. If Thor clocks in over 2 hours, I'm pretty sure. I was thinking it's like 2:15, 2:20, and it still moves at a fantastic pace. It's got great dialogue, good action, everything else, and kind of building to something. I did not feel bored, throughout that type of movie. So if you've got the right type of stuff and you're clocking through it, it does a good job. The problem, like Batman vs Superman, that you had way too much in that thing. They need to chop some more out. Suicide Squad had the problem of seeing like, oh, we got to make this thing longer, and they just kept dragging shit out because it's like they couldn't think of an idea or something. That thing just drug, and it was still under 2 hours, and it was awful. But at least in Justice League, they're building up something. They're like, hey, we're bringing the team together, and then let's go fight something. And so 2 hours, and that's basically what they're doing. So it moves at a pretty quick clip.
Right.
I think it suffers the problem of maybe showing too much in their trailers, or at least. Like the Comic-Con trailer type stuff, and things. Had I not known that, then some of those jokes would probably go a little bit more. They tried to get the funny, I think, show that a little bit more in the trailers and stuff. But when you have a guy who came in at the, nth hour, type things and did some recuts, there's only so many funny scenes that were in there, and damn near the trailers show all of them. Now, there is a good scene with Aquaman and stuff. I won't ruin that for you guys because it is pretty funny, type things. But that's fine. And
when it comes out on DVD and you're watching it, you'll think it's really funny.
That's right. You'll probably think it's humorous. But I would almost say that it's classic Joss, type things. So that's the thing. You can kind of tell where some of this type of stuff comes in.
I did see the best DC movie that they've made recently this weekend.
I was going to say The Dark Knight. That came out in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
What?
Batman Lego movie.
Oh,
I hadn't seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh my god,
It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be like the best Batman movie ever.
freaking hilarious.
Obviously, I don't.
I
have,
laughed out loud like several times.
That's good.
I don't have the same
You didn't like
as
it?
a 12-year-old boy or something. I don't know.
You didn't like it?
It's okay. I mean, it's
He's
got
not
its
impressed.
parts. It's
Okay,
funny
well-
in certain things, and stuff of that nature. But overall, I mean, it just seemed like something in which it was definitely going for the kid crowd, type things, with humor and whatever the heck else, and just flashbang and everything moving around. And it's got those little funny, type things in the background to try to keep the adults interested, and stuff. But overall, I thought it was just all over the damn place, personally.
I enjoyed it.
So.
Oh yeah, it was all over the place. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was funny. It made me laugh.
Yeah, I would
I
agree.
haven't seen it.
I would agree for some type of entertainment
It's
there.
definitely worth watching.
No,
I've heard good things.
I had to.
My kids aren't really interested in seeing it though.
What?
I know.
Well, you watch it without
I
them.
don't even know that my kids even cared that much for it. So
Yeah.
because they did see it.
So
I think it was maybe a little bit of a disappointment too, coming down from the Lego movie itself.
I didn't love the Lego movies.
But for me, going into the Lego movie, I knew nothing about that damn thing, and so I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know
That's
what
cool.
it was.
The Craggle?
So that's exactly right. Yeah, and just all that type of stuff. So not knowing it, I found it very funny in going into it. Batman, I think you expected more of the same type of thing of
Nick's watching Barbara.
what he
and then
had
we're watching.
before, or what was in the Lego
Hi,
movie, that
everybody.
same type of Batman, and it turns out it wasn't all that good. So, or it was okay, I guess.
Cool. Should we talk about some?
I think that Don and I just don't agree on movies though. So if I like a movie, you're not going to like the Justice League at all. So
I've been determined to hate that thing.
Did you like Kong
since-
Skull Island?
I did.
Did you like Kong Skull Island? Oh yeah, I liked Kong Skull Island.
Okay, so we watched that recently too. Like we
Yeah.
just saw it, and so like the beginning, when they storm the island or whatever, and Kong just takes them all out.
All the
like,
helicopters out. Yeah.
all the
Yes.
helicopters,
Oh, yeah,
everything. I'm sitting there watching that movie going, that's pretty cool. I'm like, for an action movie. But they just they blew their entire budget
you think?
on this.
But
yeah.
then they
and
just keep on
it
going,
keeps
yeah.
on going. I'm like, okay, let's go. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a popcorn
It is a
action
good popcorn
flick.
action flick.
It's
Yes.
a perfect kind of popcorn action.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
I really
would
like
agree.
the 70s vibe.
Yeah,
with the music.
That's
and
cool. If you're gonna do something, have kind of like a nice little kind of theme or whatever. I saw Atomic Blonde. Have you guys seen that?
I did.
No, I haven't yet.
I did.
I like that because it was like set in like the
I did see it.
80s,
80s.
and it uses this really cool 80s music, but it's like a John Wick like action
Now
movie.
that's right. It was like the female John Wick. I thought in some
Yeah, but it
respects.
kind of like Born
So-
Supremacy a little there because there's like a
Maybe.
good spy kind of vibe.
I thought that
going.
they tried to be a little too smart in it, with
Yeah,
all
they-
double cross,
the double-
smarter
the
than
twist
they
and
really
then the
needed
second
to be.
twist
But the
and-
action I've got to give you was fantastic
Yeah.
in that movie.
And that girl took a
Oh.
beating, man.
Trevor,
Oh,
that's
yes.
Guardians watching.
So
Hi, Trevor.
Hey,
Yeah.
Trevor.
So anyway, I like it when they take a movie and then give it like a, like you said, the 70s vibe, or like Atomic Blonde has like kind of an 80s
80s,
feel.
yeah.
I like that. I think that's cool. It kind of gives it an extra flavor, so it just
It
doesn't
does.
feel like every other movie.
yeah,
That's
I definitely
cool, yeah.
Atomic Blonde was one that I was, pleasantly surprised in. I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't have
I-
huge hopes in it, and yeah.
Oh, I actually had pretty high
action-
expectations.
I thought the action was fantastic in that.
I finally saw Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, nice.
Finally.
Not so
Wow.
good.
What?
What? See? Here's another
Everybody
one.
loves Spider-Man: Homecoming. You
Yeah,
like
like-
it?
I do not like.
and you're a huge Spider-Man guy.
Tom
I know.
Holland?
Wow. And see, I think
No,
Tom Holland is the
I
best
like-
Spider-Man that they've had on the
I
big
like-
screen yet.
I like Tom
They're all
Holland.
good.
I don't like the Iron Man forced into the Spider-Man universe.
Story.
I do not like it. I mean, I didn't care for the golden armor. I didn't care for the storyline in Civil War. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like they show the scene where he's like making his web fluid. So I mean, he's still kind of the smart kid, but it almost takes away like the whole core of Spider-Man,
Genius of him.
of the genius of Spider-Man, when it's Iron Man and all it is a suit. And then you
Yeah.
get that lame ass, if you need the suit, then you're not worthy of the suit.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and taking the suit away because if you need the suit, then you're not worthy. And I'm like, oh my god. I mean, And he's like the.
You seem to get fixated on small details and kind of miss the big picture. Have you ever noticed that on movies? Like, you get fixated on a little detail, like, I hated this one part. It ruined the whole movie for me. It's like, well, that's only a small part of the movie.
But it's
There's
not a small part of the movie. That's the whole core of the Spider-Man character. And, like, the entire front of the movie, he's like, hey, Happy, it's Spider-Man. It's 2:45. I'm out of school. You got an adventure for me? You know what I mean? And it's like...
That wouldn't be Spider-Man, though, that you're used to, where he'd just be out and
It is a little bit twist of the typical Spider-Man, but I think since they've already done that twice, it would be kind of redundant to do it again.
Well, that's fine. I'm not all in on the new twist of Spider-Man. I mean...
that's cool. Well, I mean, that happened in the comics, too. He got the Iron Armor.
And I just said I didn't like it.
I know, whatever. Yeah, I get it. So,
I don't know.
Cool. I thought it was a fun Spider-Man movie.
Unfortunately, the twist was ruined on me because when I did see part of it at the drive-in, the only part that I caught was the part where the twist. And so, like, now I already knew all of that. Like, I'm just waiting for it to happen. But I try to think back, and I'm like, that's kind of a cool twist. I don't think I would have ever seen that twist coming.
And what was really good about that is they didn't give that away in the trailers. Right. Imagine that.
Yeah. But I kind of liked I liked that they brought in the damage control. Like, Barbie, just a little, what do you call it? Like,
Easter egg.
Just a little Easter egg that it was damage control.
Yeah.
And then, I did like Vulture.
Yeah,
I like Michael Keaton.
He was good as the Vulture. I agree.
And I know that they had to do it, but I just don't like it when they techno everything. So, like, you know, the Vulture is like all. That's an integral part of the story.
Sure.
So I mean, it makes sense.
I actually kind of like that idea of saying, "Hey, we're taking these damn aftermath of parts. It's showing that there was a future effect of some of the crap that had happened."
That was a
right. And like I said, I mean, I like that. That's the one thing where you would say, "Well, you're getting nitpicky because he was a feather guy, an old guy in a suit."
Well,
but I mean,
even the feathers were metal exoskeletons.
Not originally.
Yeah, they were.
Well, they were actual feathers, though. They weren't ever metal.
Well, yeah, they were feathers, but I mean, they had a metal exoskeleton.
Anyway.
Whatever.
It's okay. I just think it tried too hard. It tried to be too funny. Yeah. And I think Tom Holland is okay. I just don't like the Iron Man.
Did you see Baby Driver yet?
No, not yet.
Right.
I saw Baby Driver. I've watched a couple times, and I think I've come a little bit more around on that.
Right. I think the Iron Man influence in Spider-Man is just too much for me.
I could see some of that. I don't know. I guess for me, I just didn't expect much, and I thought for rebooting yet another Spider-Man stuff, I feel like Tom Holland really great Peter Parker as well as a Spider-Man.
Yeah,
which I don't think we've had. For me, I never felt we had that before.
I like both of them.
You know, Tobey Maguire, I felt did a really good Peter Parker. This Spider-Man was so-so, type stuff. Not as much of the quick wit, whatever the heck type stuff. You know, you had the other guy, Andrew Garfield.
I like Andrew
Garfield. I did not think was a Peter Parker at all. He was too cool to be Peter. For the most part. That guy, slick back, loner, whatever the heck you want to say, type stuff. Tall guy at that, and everything else. I mean, that's not
Peter Parker's tall.
See, I don't think so. He was a little goofy nerd like me, so that's what I always felt.
He's thinking more like the high school, because that's where we are. We're in the high school version of Spider-Man.
That's true, and that's what I always thought of.
He was a short, skinny.
He was a short, little skinny.
He was skinny, but he was always kind of lanky.
Yeah.
Playing Ditko Spider-Man's very kind of.
But anyway, that's what I always felt like with that. So now I feel like you got a Tom Holland who not only embraces that Peter Parker nerd, whatever type stuff, and trying to do all those things, as well as has the quick wit to be a Spider-Man. So
cool.
Okay.
Works for me.
Baby Driver, though. I think for me, upon watching that one again, I was just so impressed with the first half. The second half just didn't live up to quite my expectations. But watching it again, it's still a very solid movie.
Oh yeah.
Type things. I think for me, it just I was riding such a high, and then it kind of came back down there, which gave me a bit of disappointment on the way down. But then watching it again, I was like, man, this opening stuff is just so fantastic.
That opening car chase is like
the opening
one of the
car
best
chase
car
is great.
Ever.
That opening itself, when it has the opening song, with the credits and stuff, and they got the graffiti on the walls that are tying in with the song. It's just so great, stylized wise, and things. And then the next scenes, there with the Punisher, talking about him, and everything. Just that whole first half when Jamie Foxx comes in, all that type of things. And then for me, it's just when they do that, they get there towards the last heist, and they go and find those undercover cops or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of lost a little bit for me, because I didn't know if it really needed to have that. And then you got away from a lot more of the car chasing.
Correct.
To the
it's
last
ironic that you think they'd end the movie with the big
that's
car chase,
right.
but it's like
the better car
race.
chases were in the beginning.
Yeah, the car chases got worse as the movie went on, as opposed to better, which is kind of ironic for a movie called Baby Driver.
Yeah,
I agree.
But it's still a very solid movie. Definitely worth a watch.
But I think that's the point of the movie, is it kind of gives you what you don't expect. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
I saw the Fate of the Furious. Fast and Furious.
So did I. I'm not worth talking about that.
I tell you what, though,
I've seen it.
going to popcorn flick type stuff.
No.
As a popcorn flick type of thing.
No,
all I'm trying to do is just watch, things go boom and whatever else. And
it's pretty horrible.
It is.
What else did I watch?
I don't know. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go to comic books.
We gotta go though.
Yeah. All right. Who's first?
I don't care.
I'll go.
Oh, Scott's going. Made him read Moon Knight.
Moon Knight by
Well, I gave it to him. I said
you gave it to him.
I guess
Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood. I don't think Moon Knight's my thing. There's nothing wrong with the writing. The art is fantastic. Just the overall jumpiness of the story and whatever the heck else is.
Were you able to follow it?
I think so. I mean, for the most part. But the big thing is, I think that they're trying to tie in with the past Moon Knights,
not really,
and stuff. Is it not? So it's just something about a guy with a split personality, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you know some of the history of the character, that he has like 3 personalities or whatever, But they cover.
So he's always had that, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like 3 different people that this guy was now trying to say. Oh, well, now maybe in the past it wasn't necessarily 3 different people. Now I'm actually saying that it's.
No, the idea was he always had 3 different personalities, and then Moon Knight too. So kind of like 4.
So then maybe that's why I never got into Moon Knight. That whole multiple personality thing just. I don't know. I can't say it for me personally that I'm a big fan of that. But overall, the book itself moves at a pretty good pace. I mean, I read the dang thing,
It's a short read.
Over like 2 days, or something like that. But just kind of evening, or something like this. So not too bad. It's fairly short read. I thought some of the insane asylum type stuff, and things was actually kind of cool there, and how him trying to escape it, and how he has all these friends and stuff.
Sure.
And I'm sure there were probably people that were in his past of other ones.
It could have been.
Too.
I don't know.
I guess it's a feel that I had was, as reading this, I felt like I was missing something from history of Moon Knight, type stuff. But I think that's part of it because of the fact that it's just so damn disjointed in general.
It's supposed to be because he's obviously fighting.
That's right, because he's fighting this and is trying to bring you into his world of is it real, is it not real, and whatever the heck else. And I don't know if that's necessarily for me, but
that's cool.
But I do have to say the art is fantastic, and several artists I think contributed on this. And
every
one of them I felt like brought it on. That was one of the things that kept me going. Was just sitting there going and go, wow, this is really cool art overall.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be for you. It's a little bit different.
It is different. I'll give you
I
that.
read it in single issues, and it was a little hard to follow.
Oh
but then
my
I
God,
did it
I
all
can't
together,
imagine doing that.
and I felt like it tied together pretty well. It had kind of a story, beginning, ending.
It does.
Beginning, middle,
especially
and
the way
ending.
that you tied this one together, because of the fact that by the end, I feel like he's gone full circle to get to his point where now he can go out and do the next, thing. He's kind of got his bearing, I guess, again a little bit, somewhat, about him. So you tied it all very well together there.
Well, I didn't write it, but
no. But I mean, as a collection to so as a nice collected story there versus trying to get single issues or splitting it up. I mean, because even this itself splits up into like a 5 issue arc. And
there's like
a couple,
2
like 4,
or 3 arcs.
And then, there's 3 different arcs in there. I just can't remember the length of each one of them.
Yeah,
but
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for giving it a shot.
Definitely original.
I'm gonna borrow that.
All right. You have the issues though, right?
I know. Okay. It's easier to read it this way than.
I would definitely give you that. I love the fact that you still have all the ads and everything else, and the letter pages and all that other things are cool.
It's the way to go.
It is the way to go.
I read Headlopper.
I'm gonna borrow that too.
I'm sure you did.
Is this one you bought?
This is by
that's true.
Andrew MacLean. with Mike Spicer. So this is kind of like your typical sort of sword and sorcery sort of barbarian thing, but this is head lopper. So he kind of fights monsters, and he lops their heads off more than likely. But he's carrying around this head. It's like a witch's head, and the witch's head like talks like it's alive but not alive. It's kind of funny. It's sort of comic relief, but it's sort of the MacGuffin of the story too, you know, where it's the thing that everybody's kind of after because apparently this head has powers because it belonged to a witch.
Looks like something for this.
But you know, it's kind of like it makes all sorts of wisecracks. He's always kind of arguing with the head, you know, because the head's talking. You know, and at one point the head's like trying to eat, you know, and he's like, "Well, you can't eat. You don't have a stomach." And she's like, "I like to eat though," and she's like eating. It's like falling out like her. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. And at one point the head gets like set next to like a skull. And the head's like trying to have a conversation with the skull, but the skull's not talking back. So the head's like, yeah. So it's kind of like comic relief type of stuff. But anyway, the art in this is really cool. It really gives me a Mike Mignola kind of feel. He kind of uses sort of shapes and kind of simple, you know, not a lot of over rendering. He kind of tries to, you know, do that. But the compositions are really cool. It's a lot of action, a lot of blood, but it's very cartoony in its way. But anyway, the basic story is he's on this island. He arrives, he's got this head, and there's like a king of the island, and the king was dead. There's like a boy prince, and there's like a steward of the place who's actually trying to work against them, and like there's a sorcerer who wants the head, and so the steward is like trying to get this guy to bring the head there so that the other the steward is trying to get this guy to bring the head to the sorcerer so he can take it and use its power kind of thing. And there's like this sort of, you know, revolt going on in the kingdom. So it's got a lot of moving pieces, but it's really well done. It's a lot of fun. It's really not that long. I think these issues are actually oversized.
Yeah, I think they were.
They were like, they're actually oversized, like bigger and also thicker. But this is basically 4 issues of that, but it's a really thick book. It's got some really cool pinups by some people that we really like in the back.
Alexis Zurich, Buster Moody.
Yeah, people like that. I don't know if all those guys are in here.
Kyle Strong.
But I don't think James Herron's in there. I don't know if Kyle Strong. Mike Mignola did a pinup. But anyway, it's good. Oh, Trad Moore.
Nice.
Yeah. Troy Nixie.
Oh.
Warwick Johnson Cadwell, who did that one book that I reviewed, the Helena Crash. James Stokoe. You know.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think these are covers, but Gabriel Bach. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun book. Like, it's fairly light, but it's got a fairly involved story. Not complicated, but enough to kind of keep you guessing, kind of keep you interested. But the way it really shines is where the action sequences are, where he's like fighting the monster. He's like chopping heads and cutting it and doing all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really creative in the fight scenes and stuff. So I liked it. It's a lot of fun. Definitely worth checking out if you are in the mood for something like that.
I'll take that.
Okay, you want that too. Head Lopper.
Alright. Well, I guess I'll start off with
Holy Terror?
the best.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe, sort
So
of.
this is the original Dark Knight?
Yeah, it's
Dark
that.
Knight
Well,
Returns?
it's Dark Knight
Oh,
Returns.
1 and
It's
2?
1 and 2.
Oh. They put it into one book?
Yes, they did.
So that way they have to make you buy the second one.
Now they'll probably come out with like a 3.
I can't even fit the whole book because it's like an
I
absolute.
know,
It's huge.
It's huge. Huge. Got a huge head.
Right.
Alright, so did you read the first one, or you just read 2 and 3?
I just read 2 and 3, but
Okay.
I've read the first one
Right.
several times.
Yeah.
It's
So-
probably my favorite comic book of all time.
It is. It's really good. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, is this really good, or is it just like nostalgic good?
No, it's
Is it,
really
like,
good.
Really good.
It is.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. The Frank Miller art's really good. The story's pretty good. The first one is definitely the best of the 3,
Obviously.
and the second one is the worst of the 3, because I read the second one. I honestly don't really know what the hell happened.
And the second one, yeah.
It is so disjointed.
It is.
So garbled. It's an obvious, like we talked about last time, just a money grab. It's like, hey, Frank Miller, here's a ton of cash. Why don't you
Do a sequel to
do a
Dark
sequel
Knight.
to
Yeah.
Dark Knight? It's just like, it is so all over the place. And he brings in like all of the
Justice League.
Justice League characters, which I don't think that's bad. I mean, you've got
No.
Plastic Man in
Yeah.
there, Shazam, Green Arrow.
I think that's the one where the Flash was like, wasn't that Flash power
was power in the city
or something? Yeah, I mean, some of those things were kind of.
It's so funny
Neat
though
ideas.
because like, the kind of, if I mean, you can read it anything, but as I was reading the second one, it really kind of plays into like
the third one. I thought.
Well, the third one, but I mean like now, like kind of like our political system, like now.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like the second one, because like the president is basically fake, like a hologram or whatever, and it's like he's got all
Although
these.
in that time it was more looked like a George W. If I remember right.
Right, more of a Reagan thing.
The
first one was Reagan.
Right, the second
Reagan.
one I think is George W.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I mean, because there's and it may have been that way back then too, but I mean, it's like it's all his buddies, like in positions of power.
In positions of power, which you could also see with George W.
Right, you could also see it with him too.
So,
but yeah, it's just a giant garbled mess, man. I mean, it really.
and even the art isn't as good.
The thing that is weird about it is some of the art is really
good, and then some is just like
goes,
what?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it goes like so simplistic and he does a lot of like
He did some weird coloring.
he did some weird stuff with it, but
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
yeah,
no, but you are right. There are some things where it's really good, and then all of a sudden
it's just like
ugh.
it's like a line, like almost like stick art. Almost, it's like stick man.
Well, that's the one too that has like one of the Robins as like a Joker imposter, doesn't it, or something, trying to kill the new Robin.
Yes.
And I thought, and he's got like all his little
It's
minions
Dick
or
Grayson.
something. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Right.
But you know that whole thing, little side story. I don't know if it was really needed. And the art, I thought in that part in particular was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other parts, the words weren't as.
But it's like, okay, so there's like a point where.
But you know, the problem is with that is it almost seemed like it was, instead of a Batman book, it almost felt more like a Justice League story, you know, in a lot of ways. I think, did we talk about this one last time?
That's what I said. I said the first one's
So-
Batman, the second one's Justice League, and the third one almost feels like a
Superman.
Yeah.
The third one is by
Like
far
that?
Superman.
And then of course,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's really cool.
That is really good.
yeah, and but that's like so. It's I gotta put on the kryptonite gloves and I gotta kick Superman's ass again.
Again,
just
I
like
know.
did in the first one.
Just like I did, yeah.
Like, and I think he even makes a comment like, "Hey, I did it again" or something.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, I don't know. It's there's a point there towards the end where everything comes together and Metropolis gets like blown up or something.
I know. And
Like,
it all
what's to
happens
do with
though,
the coloring here? It looks like very
I don't
computery.
know. Yeah,
and
it's
it all
very-
happens like so quick or
Right,
something like
and
that.
it's like
and
I didn't
just
even know
like,
what happened. Like I'm reading it, and then I get to the point, and like
But quite frankly,
Metropolis-
by that time I didn't care
I didn't-
because I just wanted it to end. So
I cared a little bit because I thought I missed something. So like, it's like all of a sudden Metropolis is like in a winter snow or whatever, nuclear fallout. And so then I go back and I'm like, did I miss the ball? Like, what did I miss? Like, I go back and I'm reading and I'm like, I didn't miss it. Like,
Yeah.
how did it happen? Like, what happened?
I do like they had
I
the, what,
didn't-
like the news and the nude or something like that. You know, some of those little
Yeah.
things, which is just kind of like a commentary on the society of the time too.
Right.
whatever that
Well,
is.
yeah, and then you
That's
get
kinda-
the super chicks,
Yes.
and that's all commentary. But
Yeah.
I didn't reread the third one because I just read it.
Oh, you
So-
didn't?
No,
You
I
said
didn't.
you were going to.
I know.
But after 2, you didn't have the energy.
I
did you?
did.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know if I can take it again. So you read Holy Terror instead?
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
okay. So yeah,
That's
so,
a bold move.
I know, right?
You gonna throw that up there and just go right into Holy Terror?
So, in the back of the Absolute, it has his very original script for Dark Knight,
Oh yeah.
and it's like the first written down page of whatever story of the Dark Knight ever from Frank Miller, right? Well, he called it Holy Terror, and it's like crossed out. Like he originally called it Holy
Holy
Terror
Terror.
or whatever. So I'm
Holy
like,
Terror, Batman?
so yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I should read Holy Terror
Sure,
then.
yeah.
Oh my god, that was like the wrong. This was the one where it was like halfway through, and I'm like, is this thing over?
I
This-
reread
this
that
is
recently.
terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, it's bad, dude.
No, I just
It's
reread it
so
like a year
bad.
ago. The thing
The
that I
art-
noticed is it's a really quick read.
It's not quick enough.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like super fast.
It's
like,
not super fast
30
enough.
minutes.
I really
That
like
cover's
the art
pretty
in the
cool.
beginning of the book.
Yeah.
It's like all in the rain,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And but some of it gets a little hard to follow. Like
Yeah,
you can't
but I like
tell
that.
what's going on. I know I like it, but so like maybe the first.
It's like you took like whiteout and just like smeared it.
Yeah, it's
pretty
not
cool.
bad, but the story is that thing is way too long and it's just not good. And then he gets like halfway through it and he does the pages of like all of the different people.
Okay.
What is that? Is
I
it
don't
just
know.
showing like the diversity of America that we're made up of all kinds of different people? Because there's like,
Actually, I think the art in this is pretty cool.
and that's terrible.
It's alright.
To have to read all that,
It's not that much.
I don't know. It's not good. It's definitely not good. I just read it. I don't even
Definitely
know
not
what the hell
good.
happened at the end of it.
Everything blew up.
Everything blew up.
I don't know.
Everything. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, Holy
Terror is wholly horrible.
It's wholly horrible. Anybody want to buy it?
But like, okay, I agree. Like, first time I read it, it was horrible.
You
But
gave
then
it
when
a
I
great
read
review. It makes me want to buy it right now.
when I
I just don't want
reread
to
it,
take it back home.
and I had really low expectations, I didn't think it was that bad. But
You can definitely tell that it was
definitely
a
not good.
Batman story.
Yeah, it's definitely
That he
it's a
just
Batman
reworked.
Catwoman
Batman Catwoman story that DC didn't want to publish. So
because it was horrible.
because it was terrible. And so
There's
Legendary was like, "Ooh, we'll do that."
Yeah.
It's not good.
Okay.
It's not even close to good.
Not even close to good. I think it's Scott's turn.
Is it?
Actually,
I
I'm
don't
trying
have,
to
like, one
decide
little
if
thing.
I would rather read Dark Knight 2 or Holy Terror.
Uh,
The only reason I would choose Holy Terror is because it takes me a lot less time to read
It
it.
does. Less time, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
But I think story-wise, even though I couldn't follow most of it, I think I probably enjoyed Dark Knight
Knight
2
2.
better.
I do feel like
than
Holy
Holy
Terror didn't really have much of a story.
No.
But the
But-
art was kind of cool.
The first half of the book, I think the art was cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like almost like two books, because like the first half, it's just whatever Batman's name is in this book and whatever Catwoman's name is in this book, fighting on a rooftop.
I really don't
And
know
then
why
there's like
Yeah, I
a
guess
terrorist
this is where
attack,
some of it is. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
this is just
Bad.
yeah.
and then there's like a terrorist attack, and then they're like, "Oh, we're Americans. We need to go fight these terrorists." And so then they fight the terrorists, and that's like the second half of the book.
Yeah.
And the art's not as good in the second half. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Oh well.
I only read one other thing to throw it all in. Walking Dead.
Man, you caught all up on Walking Dead.
I
It's
did.
Like 36 issues of Walking Dead that you
Man, it reads so
Hey,
damn
Christy's
fast
watching.
though.
Hi, Christy.
So this is what, like 3 years worth of Walking
It
Dead?
is.
This is
That
3
I
years
like.
worth.
And it felt
Caught
like
up.
what, 2 months?
Probably.
It's like one season of the TV show.
That is probably true. One season of it. So, book 12. Let's see.
I do like now that he's calling it a continuing story of survival horror.
He's done that since a long
I thought
time.
he's
the
done that
first
for a
one.
while.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
I think the first hardcover has that on
Unless
it.
he said it's something
Okay.
a little different, but
I don't read the hardcovers.
It's continuing.
It is. It's never ending.
He said he has an ending.
Yeah. When AMC stops writing checks, that's the ending.
probably so.
Well, he already
I would
sued him,
agree.
so. I don't know.
What? Why?
Because they weren't paying him enough, like months ago? I don't know.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't keep up with
Huh.
anything. He sued them?
Yeah.
Try to get a little more money out of him.
Yeah. Well, they're
Had a bad
they're like
deal.
cooking the books. Well, like normally when
They're
you
cooking the books.
They might be.
well, what you do well, the problem is AMC is buying the show to air it, but they're also producing the show. So the way that he gets paid, it's based on what the network pays the production company, but they're one and the same. So AMC, the production company, is selling it to the network really cheap, and so he's saying, well, they're the same thing, so they're like basically selling it cheap, so then
Underselling.
they don't have to pay him as much
Right.
because he gets a cut of what they sell it for, and so it's
Right.
not really fair. And so him and the other producers who all get a cut, is it Scott Gimple or whoever
Yeah.
those people are, they all sued AMC and said, you guys are hosing us out of our profits because you're selling it for too cheap to the network because you're, tied
One the
together. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, there's a big
So why
lawsuit.
does he have a new series on AMC then?
I don't know, but didn't he just make
probably trying to make it up to him?
Well, didn't he just make a deal with another someone? Like, was it with like Netflix? I know
Well,
Miller did
Cinemax,
Netflix.
he had the one. Didn't he? Have
He did Outcast. No, I thought he just did like a whole like first look thing with another company. Like it was like Amazon maybe or Hulu or something. Everybody's making deals with the different streaming services.
He's doing that.
That's probably true.
Robert Kirkman's hidden comic book stories.
No, not this. He did like an actual. Like
no, I know, but what I'm saying is it's a new series that just started
on AMC.
On AMC.
Yeah.
So if he's pissed off,
that was probably already in development before this happened.
Could have been.
And maybe it was part of any type of deals that they had going on. I don't know. Is it still going on, the lawsuit?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I believe so. I thought it just happened not that long ago. But anyway, totally off track.
Yeah, sorry. I'm way behind, so thanks for catching me up on the world.
Yeah. So, have you read all these then?
I have, but I don't remember them.
You don't remember anything? Okay.
You're not going to spoil anything.
Didn't know how much to spoil or
you
whatever
can
the heck
talk
else
about
or
whatever you want to talk
type
about.
Thing. Well, okay, so book 12 starts off 3 years ago now, or whatever from today, but no, I'm kidding.
That's good.
Basically,
it's actually 4 years ago because you're like a year behind on the hardcover.
That's true.
No, I think this hardcover just came out, didn't it?
It did, but the hardcovers are like a year
behind.
behind the single issues. Well,
the
maybe
single
6
issues
months.
are pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
I don't know. It's fairly close. I mean, it's not
It's
too
a little
far
bit
behind.
Yeah, probably like 6 months.
Yeah. But anyway, this one takes place. Basically, Negan, that all-out war is all finished off, and then they found out the new, folks that are. They had a time jump. Well, they had a bit of a time jump. Or, I don't know, what was it, 2-3 years or something?
Yeah, something like that.
In which now Rick has Alexandria, Maggie's ruling the hilltop, and
Ezekiel.
you got the Ezekiel in the kingdom, and you have Dwight with the Saviors, and they're all kind of sharing things, protecting each other, trading, all this other good stuff, and they've made a thriving, environment, and stuff, and community in here. Well, some people show up, they got their regular guards and stuff, and it looks like the zombies starting to have some smarts about them, and kind of gathering and kind of take out one of the little outposts there of people that were kind of trying to guard. And it comes to find out that it's actually just a bigger group of people that are just covering themselves in zombie guts and skins and whatever the heck else, and merging themselves with the rest of the zombie herd to kind of direct it to where they want to go. So they are the Whisperers, and that's the new big bad. And Robert.
And it takes up three hardcovers.
And it takes up a good chunk of hardcovers. So he managed to drain that turnip for a couple of years. So, here's the thing, though, is that as much as I want to hate this and just walk away from Walking Dead.
Right, you want to quit because it feels like it's repeating.
It is, this type of stuff. He is such a damn good writer. I have got to
He definitely draws you in.
He definitely can draw you in. He can definitely build, some good world character type stuff. He's got some really good ideas, with different things. He still gets a little chatty in some different parts, and I think that Rick's a bit of a whiner sometimes. But, overall, though, it's still engaging, engrossing. I can't remember even where the hell this one leaves off. They all kind of
the three of them kind of go together.
They do. They all kind of. Oh yeah, never mind. This one basically ends up where the Whisperers kind of claim their land, their split of the things.
And they decapitate. Is it the decapitated head fence?
They got the decapitated head fence.
Okay.
Type thing. And
so I have a question.
Yeah.
So after you read these recently, Robert Kirkman has explained how much he loves Negan. Like he likes saying, "I love to write Negan. He's just so great. I love that guy." Don't you feel like the end of the last book is kind of like him just trying to, like, shoehorn Negan into the book more and more?
Is that where he has a
the big speech and Negan's almost. It seemed like book 14. Negan's almost.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Almost trying to become a heroic character.
13 Negan is an awesome character.
13, is basically where he breaks out. Negan breaks out.
Correct.
And does his thing.
And then at the beginning of 14, he comes back.
At the beginning of 14, he comes back to Alexandria with part of the Whisper. Yes.
Yes.
So he's, that's the way I feel. I feel like he must really like Negan, and he wants everybody else to like him as much as he does.
So he can keep writing him.
And so he can keep writing him, and so he wants to put him into the good guy side of things.
Yeah.
You know, type of stuff.
But
he
to
wants
me,
to make him this
Negan,
tragic character.
Negan won't work as a good guy. Though.
That's what I mean. I mean, yeah, okay.
That's
so
the reason he's so good. Is
Negan's
he's
come
the
around,
perfect
but
bad
it's
guy.
but it's like
Possibly,
he's
but
still.
I wasn't a big Negan fan as it was anyway.
I wasn't either. I'm not a huge Negan fan, but you know, it's like it just feels forced to me, and I feel it's disingenuous that he just likes writing his characters, so he's like changing the story to do what he wants to do as a writer, which is just write Negan. But I feel like Negan works better as a bad guy because I kind of feel like Negan is irredeemable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's trying to redeem him, and me as a reader is like, well, the things that Negan's done, that's not redeemable. I mean, yeah, he might be.
What the hell did he do that's so worse from the others?
Killed Glenn.
He killed Glenn. What
Yeah.
did he flipping do?
I like
There's
Glenn.
tons of damn people that have been killed one way or another. Hell,
Yeah,
Rick's killed
but
a whole freaking ton of people that weren't even probably deserve it.
His base with an iron.
Dwight, yeah, but he was keeping people in line by
That
what
didn't
he
bother
thought
me as much.
needed to
But
happen.
killing Glenn, I mean,
Killing Glenn was awful, but it was what he had done before, and it was what he needed to do to keep people in line and things of that nature, and what he thought to try to save his community.
I know.
You know, type things,
Well,
and beat with the big fist first. You know,
Sorry.
type stuff. But hell, it's not like our own damn supposed heroes didn't do the same damn thing when it came to the freaking, cannibals and whatever else. It's like, well, heck, they took one of our legs. Well, we're just gonna freaking show
yeah,
them
but
how
that
we
was
are.
retaliation. Glenn didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
I don't know. It was,
Negan.
they sure didn't have to do that. So that
Negan might say that he does it to keep people in line, but there's a part of Negan that enjoys that.
yeah, probably. Who knows what?
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
hard to tell, but I mean, you almost get the feeling that it's coming back around where he's trying to say, well, Negan has a reason for everything that he does, and that it is to try to help people in whatever the heck deranged.
Oh yeah,
way
I mean
he
that's
has.
the way it is in the
So?
TV show. I mean, yeah, he puts up that fight. He's like, I saved all these people.
Yeah,
He's like,
and that's where I'm going. Is that I think he's trying to make him a character that you'll kind of root for now, or whatever the heck else. You know, Rick has always needed the big burly guy next to him. If you look back through the rest of the series, you know, type stuff. He had Tyrone there for a while, you know, type things. Then he had Abraham, Jesus. For a chunk. Then they tried to bring Jesus in here, you know, and stuff. But I think that they got to split Jesus out there because he's more on the hilltop and things like this.
I don't know.
So he needs to have that big guy to bounce off of because he doesn't have a freaking, God dang, I lost the guy's name. What's the freaking guy from the show that's not in here? With the freaking crossbow.
Daryl.
Daryl, there you go. He doesn't have a Daryl in here with the buddies, you know, type thing. So Rick needs that male buddy again. Is it going to be Negan? I don't know, but it almost seems to feel like that it's going that direction.
Does the tiger dies in the comic, right?
Yeah, but the tiger died a long time ago.
He died in the All-Out War.
It died in the All-Out War.
Well,
Very
that's where
similar.
they are. That's where they are right now in
That's
the
right,
TV
in the
show.
TV
They're in
show.
All-Out War. And
Yeah, and it was very similar, if I remember right, in the comic.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, they just killed the tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife still watches that one, and I just kind of walk by from time to time. But
Really?
you know, and see something.
I like the show.
I do too.
I don't watch the show anymore, so
So there's like
I quit watching the show, and maybe that's a big reason. Part of the reason why I don't like Negan though as well is just because of the fact that he killed Glenn. To tell you the truth,
right.
Because even in the comic, I mean, he maybe didn't have as much stuff going on, but Glenn was still kind of that more relatable character. I think in some cases. So
Negan does what he does to save his people, right? He keeps them in line. He rules with a fist.
Yeah.
Iron fist. You do what he says or whatever. Rick and his group have always been
Slightly more democratic.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Rick still made all the goddamn decisions.
Right, but I don't know. There's a difference. I just don't know how to like.
I mean, hell, even going through these, I mean, hell, they're all looking to Rick. There is almost barely a democratic type thing. I mean, he goes in there and talks with some of the people that
But Rick's always been like, I don't want to be that guy.
He's still talking, to try to get some of that type of. You're right, trying to talk to the right people to try to help him, with stuff. Hell, even in this one, he goes to talk to Negan. Bringing him almost into that inner circle. So, like you say, it goes back around to that too. So
I think there's a big difference between Negan and saviors in Rick and his group.
I
Now,
agree.
granted, they do
Probably.
the same kind of things,
I don't know.
but I think Negan is more extreme.
Oh yeah.
In the TV show,
There's no doubt.
they're doing the all-out.
But you know,
war.
almost in the TV show though, you could even go to that. They're no better than Negan in this.
I
They
think-
did bring the
yeah.
freaking
I
battle
think
to
on
them.
the TV show, Rick is a darker character than he is in the book.
Really?
Slightly. I don't know. In some ways,
I don't know. I mean, he did a lot of the same shit that he did in the TV show, you know, between biting that guy's throat out. I mean,
yeah, well,
hell,
that
even in
was
this one, he
fine.
does the same damn thing, you know, when two guys freaking fight him, you know, and the
Yeah.
guy is just trying to say, well, we need to kill him, you know. I mean, hell, he freaking killed that guy, you know, with no freaking if, ands, or buts.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, I mean, he did the same shooting thing that he did with the governor, you know, type stuff in the book, you know.
Yeah.
And,
There's a scene in the
hell, he freaking breaks somebody's neck in this one, you know, type thing. And it's accident, but who the hell knows? You know, when it comes
Hey,
to
man.
freaking Rick.
Hey man, Superman snapped Zod's neck.
Yeah, it's true, and
He's
he's
Superman.
He's okay, so. But you know, I don't know. I do have some problems with the overall Rick character sometimes, but I think that's because it focuses on him, and so you see a little bit more into that
Yeah.
and what he's
Yeah.
thinking and whatever.
I
Else.
think that's the point too. Is
So-
Rick is this guy who
Didn't want to be
keeps-
a leader, but he keeps being
and
forced into that spot.
he's put in a lot of situations where he has to make moral,
Yeah.
you know,
Decisions,
decisions.
well,
And yeah, I think that's the
And
point.
it's
And you
trying
know
to give
what?
the reasoning
That may
between
be-
why he makes those decisions.
That may
as well.
be the thing. I mean, Rick struggles with a moral decision, whereas Negan.
Oh, you're all right.
He
Maybe
doesn't
there's where the
care.
big difference is.
Negan is
Negan
like-
just says, "Hey, this is what I got to do. I got to make the decision. Boom, I'm making it."
He's
and
like, I'm gonna-
hell be damned.
I'm gonna bash Glenn's head in right now. Bam, done. Now
Yeah.
you guys do what I say.
No, you are.
And Rick would be like, have a committee, and they'd be like, "Do we bash in Glenn's head?
Yeah.
to make him
Which
do
one
what
do
I
we do
say?
this?
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Which one do we take out?
So I mean, like, you know, he struggles with it more. It comes easier for Negan, and
Yeah.
there may be a reason for his backstory why it is easier for him.
It could be. But yeah, you are right with some of that. And so maybe we put in a comparison of Negan and Rick there together.
There is. I mean,
But
anybody that survives. in
I
that
guess
world
I'm just
is
trying
gonna
to
get
go with the
some
fact that
point.
I think that I agree with you that he's trying to make Negan a bit more of a sympathetic character that the audience will like and probably now be part of the team.
Yeah, which I'm not buying it.
Which,
Oh, yeah.
whatever else.
I'm
And
not-
maybe not. Who knows? Maybe it'll go a different direction. Hell, at one point in time when, you know, God dang, his son got his eye shot out, you know, and stuff of that nature. Hell, in that whole thing at the end of that one, I thought there was some hope coming on. I was like, oh, wow, maybe this is going in a bit different direction. Nah, he just went back to the dark side and killed a bunch of people again, and all was well in the Walking Dead world, I guess. I am somewhat disappointed, I guess, with the big death I think that happened in book 14, but I think you always are when you have a character that's been there for freaking, 10 years and stuff, and they go,
Yeah. We don't want to spoil it.
don't want to spoil that one for you. So,
I probably read it.
Okay, then
you
you
think
should
so?
know.
Then you should know. It's very, I mean, hell, they take like probably half this freaking book is, about it, so.
Let's see the damn book.
So, hell, they show a
It's the
picture of her on the
end.
back.
But
Yes, it's so it is what it is. It's always it almost seemed like even with this one because it was like one of the original people that they had to drag it out also for like freaking 6 issues or more or whatever else. Will it change Rick some more and go down a darker path? Hell, it might. I don't know. That type of thing. We'll see where it goes. But I don't know if I ever go out of my way. It's always still good to read just to see where it's going. But I just don't know that it's not like it used to be where it's like, oh my gosh, you almost want to know where they're going and what's this group doing, and everything else. He's had so many deaths and everything else throughout it. It's just kind of got to a point where it's like, yep, okay, we'll go. We got bad
It's
guys.
at the end of the book, dude.
Oh, it's at the end of the book?
We got the bad guys. Okay, we defeat them. Oh, we lost another main character. Okay, now we got to bring in maybe something else here. Okay,
Yeah.
cycle, rinse, repeat, type thing. And it's just kind of following the same thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how long you can keep going. I
It
guess
does
with
feel
that.
repetitive, and I think
So-
that's the...
He does a good job. Let me give you that. Of trying to make it original and make it fresh and
Yeah.
and keeping you engaged. With his great writing that he's got in general.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm, next verse, same as the first, or just a little
Did
tweaks.
this person get
So-
bit?
Yes.
Okay.
So it just goes to show that the zombie apocalypse is still out there, stuff. And how many more flipping zombies can they have out there?
Yeah, they've got to be
For God's sakes.
like dying out, right?
Jesus.
Because you think the winter and then the cold,
They'd slow them
would
down.
slow them down, and they'd like all rot or freeze, and then when they thaw out, they'd be all rotty.
Well, especially after 3 flipping years of this crap.
Yeah,
and they found another freaking 1,000 damn zombies, type thing.
Yeah, you would think at some point.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems like there's a hell of a lot of them still. But
yeah. I'm not sure.
Anyway, Walking Dead. It's a good read. Kirkman, you can't. He's a really good writer. Still, this isn't as good as say like Invincible or something like that, but
Sure.
it's still probably better than a lot of the other average stuff that's out there. Better than say like Dark Knight 2, things like that. So.
I read a couple issues of Kill or Be Killed, issues 12 and 13.
Ooh.
It finally circled around to the very first scene of the first issue. It finally made it all the way around.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. I love this book. This is like probably my favorite Brubaker Phillips jam up to this point. And they've done some really good stuff. They did like The Fade Out, they did Fatale, they did Criminal. But not Velvet. But this might be my favorite Brubaker book. I don't know. It's kind of your typical Brubaker book. You got this guy and he's doing like the whole first person narrative. But I just like his writing style and just he just crafts like this character from the first person narrative so well, and you just really get drawn in. It really feels like a real person. And then he puts him in these really interesting situations. It's like an average guy, but he's doing these really unaverage things. And at this point, the story's kind of shifted. So the basic premise begins is there's this average guy, and he gets really sick, and he gets visited by a demon, and the demon says, hey, you have to kill somebody every month or you're going to die, and then you won't be sick anymore. So he goes out, he finds like an unsavory person who deserves to die and kills them, and then he feels better. And then a month goes by and he starts to feel bad again. He gets sick, and the demon says, yeah, the month is almost up. It's the second month. You need to go kill somebody. And so he gets in this sort of vigilante thing where he has to kill somebody every month to keep this demon at bay. Well, we've kind of moved past that whole kind of storyline. Like, the character has kind of evolved past that, and now it's almost getting to a more of a typical sort of... there's some Russian mobsters that he's like kind of going up against, so he's trying to infiltrate and figure out how to take out or whatever, based on other things that happened previously or whatever. So it's kind of become more traditional, but yet I feel like the character is so well drawn that I don't know quite what direction it's going to go. It's just really interesting. I think it's really well done for like a sort of,
It's a good book. I'm just way behind.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like really well written and really fun. So, yeah, Kill or Be Killed, like I said. Super, super good. If you like crime, noir type stuff, it's, it doesn't get much better.
I enjoyed the few issues
that you've read. Yeah, catch up on it. It's really good. So, anyway, Kill or Be Killed.
Well, excellent a lot. So.
Yeah, you would like this, I think. But I probably built it up too much now. Now you won't like it.
Never know.
Could be like that.
I'll probably forget by the time you actually, I get around to it. So.
It's true.
Hey, look, I read some Old Man Logan.
Really?
19 through 29.
As good as the movie?
No, this is different.
It's better than the movie.
Better than
the movie?
Alright,
so 19, 20 are kind of set up to Lemire's big goodbye, because Lemire is off the book on 24.
Brisson takes over.
Yeah. So Old Man Logan wants to get back to
his world.
Back to his world. And so the 19 and 20 are the lead up to Logan Past Live storyline, I think, that was like 4 or 5 issues long. So anyway, Old Man Logan is like trying to find a way to get back to his past, which is an alternate future of everybody else. So he goes and he visits all of the magic people and all of the like Beast. Like, he goes to see Beast, and he's like, hey, I need you to send me back. And Beast is like, last time I messed with time travel, we got all these X-Men running around. It really screwed it up. So he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, yeah, everybody called me, told me you were coming. He's like, I don't know that I can do it, and even if I can, I don't want to. So
basically, he goes to see everybody that could possibly do it, and everybody tells him no.
Turns him down. Huh?
Yeah. So then he finds, which it's a pretty cool scene. He goes into like whatever the big maximum security prison is now in the Marvel universe, the vault or the whatever, and just tears through all these people and breaks out. Dun dun dun! Asmodeus.
I don't know who that is.
I think he was like a West Coast Avengers villain from like back in the day or whatever. But he's got like magical powers.
Okay.
And so he breaks him out, and Asmodeus sends him, tells him he's going to send him. But he gives him this, like an amulet. And so basically it sends his mind back, but his body stays, almost like a Days of Future Past.
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
So he does like this whole spell and sends him back. So then we get into the past lives, and it's basically Old Man Logan starting at like Wendigo, and like every issue he jumps from Wendigo, and then he grabs the amulet and he escapes, and he jumps a little bit forward, and so it just basically goes through like you got the patch version.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes through everything of like
His history.
Wolverine, right? So he's reliving everything and then jumping to try to get to his future or his past, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but Asmodeus is actually he got him screwed because once he jumps out, he brings in all the bad guys like Hydra and everybody, and he's like, "Hey, here's Wolverine." He's like, "I launched them off to the highest bidder." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "Won't he come back?" And they're like, "Oh no." He's like, "I've done this spell and he's gone." So he's just like this mindless one-man army that I'm auctioning off to like the highest bidder. Well, he jumps through everything, and then there's a point where he jumps into something with like Iceman. There's an X-Men battle, and he tells Iceman, he's like, "Hey, at this date, you need to be at this place." Because Wolverine figures out what Asmodeus is doing. And so then there's a really kind of cool time travel, whatever, at the end. So when Old Man Logan is in trouble, Iceman and everybody come in, defeat Asmodeus, save him, and then he gets to where he wants to be at the end. So he's back with his family. And he realizes that there's no way that he can change it. And he's like, I could stay here, but then I'm just going to watch my family die again.
Hmm.
And so the big send-off, Jeff Lemire, is he decides to go back. Leave them. He leaves them before they die, knowing that they're going to die.
Yeah.
And then comes back to our time. And he's like, now it's time to start living my life again, blah, blah, blah. So, and that's the big Lemire send-off.
Gotcha.
And then we jump into Brisson and Diodato.
Yeah.
Dude, Diodato is so good.
I love Diodato.
So now we're back, and so he's back in our timeline, but now somehow
Hulk's back too.
Hulk is back, but it's
As Maestro.
but he's in this timeline, and so Maestro has grabbed the Hulks from the future and brought them back. So Maestro is like running around with the Hulk clan from Old Man Logan, the original Old Man Logan,
Really?
Mark Miller run.
Huh.
I wish that writers would just write new Wolverine stories and not keep like rehashing all this alternate reality stuff.
Right. Well, even the Jeff Lemire thing, the past lives storyline, like I almost got sick of it because it's like I've been reading Wolverine like from the beginning, like of the Wolverine series, and it's like, why do I have to read 4 or 5 issues of Wolverine just jumping? Like I've seen the Wendigo scene, I've seen the Patch Madripoor scene, I've seen, the whatever scene. So like it was just reliving like the Weapon X. He goes to Weapon X or whatever. I mean, it was almost like I like Lemire. But it was like, why do I have to reread all of this crap for this story? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Well,
So
that's the thing.
I almost felt that way a little bit. And I'm sort of digging the Old Man Logan thing because I mean it ties in. I mean it's not rehashing; it's a continuation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, like I read the first few arcs of Old Man Logan digitally, and it was actually really well written. I really liked it.
I did too.
At the same time, part of me is like, but why is Old Man Logan even in? Why is he even a thing in the current Marvel universe? You know what I mean?
Because they killed Wolverine.
Yeah, I know, and so then you bring in Old Man
and
Logan.
they need a Wolverine in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, but I mean, Old Man Logan, the Miller McNiven thing was such a nice kind of self-contained thing. It could have just
Dark
lived
Knight
as
Returns.
that. I don't know why we have
can't.
to. It can. I'm saying, but I mean,
No.
I don't know why it doesn't. And so I don't really feel like, although it's enjoyable to read and Lemire's a good writer and made it interesting, I just feel like it doesn't need to exist. There's no reason Old Man Logan needs to be in the current Marvel universe.
Did Lemire write this one from the start?
He wrote the Old Man Logan.
Yeah,
he wrote the first 24 issues.
Yeah,
Okay.
the series.
Yeah,
Okay.
the series.
The series, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I was going with this particular.
So yeah, he wrote it for
Whatever
2
you
years.
say.
Well, he wrote it for 24 issues, which should be 2 years, but they double and triple ship it, so it's probably
like a
been a
year.
year.
Really? Jesus.
But yeah, it was his big run on Old Man Logan, and I'm with Drew too.
It's good. It's
I
enjoyable.
thought it was really good
Well
right off the
done.
bat. And
I just don't think
kinda
it
lost
needs
some
to
steam.
exist.
Well, it needs to exist because Marvel makes money off of it, just like Dark
Well,
Knight 2 needs to exist.
But I tend to think
because
it goes
DC
more back to the point of you need a Wolverine in
But yes, you do
Yeah,
need a
just
Wolverine.
give me Wolverine back. I don't
They
need...
can't because they had to kill him and get him. He's gone, but he's back now.
But you
I
are right.
guess.
They're probably trying to capitalize on it, especially with the fact that they had the Logan movie and all that other type
Yeah,
things that
I'm
were out there
sure.
trying to
Yeah,
capitalize on
I
that.
understand they're trying to make money. I just feel like,
I mean,
you know,
don't
I'm
buy
sure.
it and read it.
I'm sure, like when the Watchmen movie came out, they sold a ton of Watchmen trades.
Well, they printed it.
And I'm sure when the Logan
You don't
movie
know how
came
many
out,
they sold.
they probably sold a ton of Old Man Logan trades.
Right.
But I know Marvel, that's not good enough. They need to have more Old Man
Well,
Logan.
yeah, and they
I
have
mean,
to
it's like-
ship it twice a month.
Yeah, I understand. It's just
Because the freaking DVD just came out,
I know.
whatever else. You got to
I
capitalize
know.
in that time frame.
I know.
But I
You only
kind
got
of
6 months from
I've
the movie
liked-
to DVD and the build.
I liked Old Man Logan. I thought it was a good story, the original Mark Miller one. But
Yeah.
I liked the character, and I think it
the character's Wolverine. He's just an old man.
right. But I enjoy it.
Okay.
I mean, and Deodato art drawn Maestro and Hulk and Wolverine.
Yeah, no,
fighting
that
is
sounds
just-
pretty
Oh my
cool.
god, it's so good.
I'm sure it is. No.
And I mean, sometimes with Brisson, I
like Brisson too. Yeah, and like I say, I like these teams. I'm just
Right? No, I get it.
put them on a Wolverine book. I'm good.
Yeah, they are in a Wolverine book.
Just put them on a regular Wolverine book. Why's it gotta be Old Man Logan?
Because Wolverine's dead. Did you just hear that one?
Oh my god! But why did they kill him? That was not a very good story, actually.
What?
When they killed Wolverine, it wasn't that good of a story.
No.
I did finally read Cancor number 3, The Calamity of Challenge.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. I liked it. I thought there was kind of a story. It kind of made sense. Like, Cancor's wandering in space, and he arrives at this guy, and this guy's like, yeah, I know you don't remember, but you did some stuff, and it's kind of like a flashback, and they're showing him why he's being, like, on trial, and
It's very X-Men-y.
I don't know if it's X-Men. It's interesting.
You
I
read
love
that- did you read
the-
that one?
What?
That one?
Cancor? Oh yeah.
I love the backup,
Talked about it last.
like,
I couldn't remember who it was.
extra content or whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. And there's like an interview, and like a fake interview, and then he had like the comics. What is it called?
Comics Buyer's Guide.
Library.
No,
CBR?
it's the other one. The highfalutin one. Comics Journal.
Comics Journal.
Review of this book, and then he
Yeah.
did even a swipe file
Swipe
where that
file,
was pretty
yeah.
cool. So anyway, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I love
That-
Cancor itself. The art is pretty amazing.
That
And
page,
just this page with the eyes. Like, I'd buy
That-
the book just for those eyes.
that page is awesome, but
It is.
that page I talked about last time.
Yeah, that one early on up
It's
there with
still-
the whole weird tentacle thingies.
Oh, with all the tentacles? That one?
That one,
Yeah, I saw him drawing that on Instagram. That had to take him like 5 days.
but
I love where he like punches him in the face and then he grabs the like little lightning bolts
Yeah.
effects and then he grabs him and then stabs him with it. That's pretty awesome too. I mean, that's just
the
it's
one
just
with
crazy.
the
What? Use your words, dude.
Go.
This one?
No.
That one where you... Yeah.
That one right
That's
there.
pretty cool. Yeah, he takes he like grows Wolverine claws and like pokes his eyes out and stabs it over and over, and then he's just like a bloody cybernetic weird mess. I don't know. The art's pretty amazing.
I
But
want to own that page.
well, you probably can maybe
I
if he
can.
hasn't already sold it. How much is it? That's not bad.
Yeah, but it's too much for me.
All right, cheapskate.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Cancor, it's great. Do you have
I got one
thing?
more. Well,
All right,
yeah.
you do one more, then I'll do one more.
All right. I got caught up on
You
the
got like
Punisher.
lots of stuff though, Drew.
Yeah, let me
Just
talk
keep
about all of
talking.
it.
I got caught up on the
How do
Punisher.
you read so much, man?
I read
They're just single issues.
10 through 17, which basically this is the reboot. Becky Cloonan is writing it, and
How's she doing on the writing?
it's good. It's
Is
not
it?
bad.
Oh, Horak is doing it.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one you saw at C2E2?
Yeah.
Like that indie book?
Uh huh.
We should
Yeah.
bring him to AirCap.
We should.
He'd be a good one. Anyway.
So there's one fill-in issue, but this is basically Becky Cloonan's Punisher run. It goes 17 issues. 'Cause
Becky Cloonan wouldn't strike me as a good Punisher. Becky Cloonan wouldn't strike me as someone who would necessarily write Punisher right away. You know, I'm sure she can
really
write
good.
it well. Well,
It's
cool.
really dark.
It's awesome.
It's really good. It's pretty much got a running theme, like 10, 11, 12, where pretty much there's like, it really seemed like, because I read this after I watched, some of those covers are insane. There's some, what's it, Declan
Declan Shalvey?
Declan Shelby
How do you
and
say his name?
Jordy Belair.
Oh, yeah, his girlfriend.
Do a lot of the covers. But anyway, so there's this old group. Well, it's an old guy that was with Frank in the military or whatever, I guess, or he knew him from the military. Well, he's in with this group of. They're like a mercenary group, but there's this new drug. It's called like ECM or something, but it's almost like a human mutant growth hormone or a human growth hormone.
Okay. Human growth hormone.
Where
Nice.
it gives you powers or whatever. So anyway, these mercenaries are
Don't check your text while you're doing a review.
these mercenaries are trying to get this drug. Like they're running this drug. They're gonna sell it.
But they feed it to the fish first.
There's mercenaries selling a drug, and
Right.
the Punisher's after them. Because
Right.
he doesn't like
And
drugs.
then the
Because he
one
doesn't- drugs are
right.
bad.
So yeah, basically he takes out that thing, and then there's always a cop or whatever that's chasing him, a DEA drug cop or
course.
whatever that's
Of
chasing
course.
him, and so
It's all Breaking Bad.
yes. Anyway, Punisher wins in the end. But,
He does?
Yeah, he does.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And then there's like a fill-in
That's
issue,
different.
and then they do like another storyline which I can't remember, and then they kind of come back to
The drug storyline.
the drug storyline, and it kind of ties up. And then I'm such an idiot. So
You are
like,
an
I'm
idiot.
reading.
I agree.
I'm reading 17, right?
And then
it's
you
like-
read 19, Miss
No.
19? Oh,
No,
okay.
so I read 17, and it's like I get to the end of it, and it's like, okay, yeah, this was a good run. See you later. And I'm like, the series is ending? I'm like, surely not ending the Punisher series. And I'm like, and then I see the ad for they turned the Punisher into Iron Man now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's got like the Iron Man armor now. Yeah, there.
Punisher 218.
Yeah.
He doesn't look... Oh, he has some kind of armor.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be some kind of
Legacy.
It's like a Frankencastle thing, but it's like the Punisher and Iron Man.
Is Becky Cloonan still writing?
No, that's her run. That's why it's the end. It's just the end of her and Matt Horak's run.
Gotcha.
The book is going to continue, but in a different direction with a new creative team. So, like, there for a second, I'm like, but I like the Punisher. Why are they ending it? And then I flip, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're not ending it because they're rebooting it. Marvel
They got a TV show
now,
coming out.
218. But anyway, yeah, Matt Horak's
So
art's
is that
really
they're
good.
starting from number 218 or something?
Yeah, all the Marvel books have gone back to what they call legacy numbering. So they're taking all the different series that they've done, they add them all together, and then that's the next issue.
That's
So,
the
like,
next
if there's
issue.
been 218 issues of Punisher, then the next issue is 218.
Really? That's
It's
it?
like Spider-Man would be like 900.
I mean, shit, I bought the Punisher back in the 80s.
But
It
there was a
gotta be
long
further than
period
218,
where they didn't
doesn't it?
publish it.
Here's the
Really?
thing, though. there were a bunch. There were like 4 series going on at the same time.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't count all
but
those.
they had
There's
They
Punisher
don't count
Journal,
those. They
and
just
you
do
had- But you
Punisher.
still had regular Punisher.
Which
but
Punisher
Punisher
went to, like,
only went to
70
like
or something.
one.
Did
No,
it
Punisher
really?
went to like 120.
I was gonna say,
Are they
Yeah,
counting the
pretty
Garth
far.
Ennis Punisher?
They can't.
Well,
Maybe they could. It'd be
to
too
get up
many.
to
I think.
218. I don't know. Their
I just
math is
would've
always a
thought
little
that
Their
wonky.
math is.
Yeah, I
It's
would've thought
never
they would've
right.
been well past 218, but I don't know.
Apparently not.
Considering for something that's been out there for 20
They've
flipping years
rebooted
at
it.
least.
They've rebooted it.
God, it's
A
got to be
ton of
closer
times.
to being 30, isn't it?
What?
For him being around?
30 years?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's been around since like the 70s.
The
Yeah.
70s?
But he didn't have his own series till like the
Well,
late
see,
80s.
Like 30s, so that'd be
So
30
yeah,
years. Like I
but
said.
he got burnt out like in the late 90s. They didn't have a Punisher series for a while
No kidding.
Yeah.
because then Garth Ennis did that 12
Brought it
issue
back.
series and kind of brought it
Yeah,
back.
it was gone for a little while, and then
Yeah.
even after the Garth Ennis thing, I think it took a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
They'll do like 20, 25 issue runs, spurts, and then
Yeah.
end it, and then it'll take time off.
but yeah, I
and
agree
it'll
with
come
Scott.
back.
218 seems low.
It does seem low.
I'll do a couple just like quick hits.
Yeah.
I read A Lark's Killer. This is Bill Willingham's new book. It's not very good. It's okay. He's doing some interesting things. It's kind of like a fantasy sort of thing.
Not very good.
It's a fish out of water
Oh.
thing. Like there's this girl and
He's not.
she's in this
I've been
fantasy
buying these,
world.
but I haven't read them.
And
Of course.
so I was reading this one. I'm like, the art's kind of weird. It's like it's not bad, but it's a little different.
Yeah.
Bill Willingham actually drew the book,
Cool.
and he said the reason is because this artist just quit. And so while he was finding the next artist, he's like, "Well, I guess I'll
draw.
just draw." Because Bill Willingham used to be a
An
penciler.
artist.
Yeah, I mean, he that's where he cut his teeth or whatever.
What was the name of that?
Elementals.
No,
Okay.
there's another one.
But anyway, it's not bad. It's just I don't know. After Fables was such an awesome kind of continuing book. When you think, oh, this is Bill Willingham's next big thing, you'd think it'd be like amazing or blow you out of the water. It just feels very standard, and there's just nothing that really grabs you. But I think he's building it up, and so maybe it's going to get better. But I'm a little worried it's not going to make it that far because the publisher is First Comics. Devil's Due First
I
Comics.
think it was solicited as like a 7-issue.
Well, that's
miniseries.
weird because the solicitation said 7 issues, but when you read the editorials in the back, he's like he wants it to go on forever. So a little bit of a confusion there as well. I'm guessing it's going to depend on sales, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Coventry. That was a book that
Coventry.
he did. It was like only 3 issues came out. I met him years ago at like a Planet or a Kansas City comic convention.
Yeah.
And I had him sign my Coventry #1.
I thought it was Cyberfrog. No, that's Ethan Page.
No, that's Ethan Van Sciver.
Coventry.
Should have had him sign your Fables.
It wasn't out at that time.
No, I think it was because I met him that time too. I was asking him if he had
But I like
if he had an ending
I like to bring the weird.
If he had an ending for Fables.
for Fable. He's like, oh yeah, I got one. It'll
Oh
take me a
yeah,
while
10
to get
years
there.
from now.
But I
like
think
the-
at that time he was just thinking of the ending of the Adversary. Like I didn't think he even planned it going like another 100
Okay,
issues after
okay.
that. But
I like
But
the
so
bring
he kept
so
printing
well.
money and kept
Correct.
selling. So he's like, yeah, I guess better come up with another idea.
Right.
I like to bring the oddball stuff to have people
We
sign.
know. You were trying to say that
Yes.
for like 10 minutes, which
I
I'm
know.
cutting you off. And
That's
we, don't,
okay.
we don't care.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Well, I don't
Alright.
know why you would want to do that, but hey, each their own.
This is Mother
Just
Russia.
that lets them know that
But
By-
you really are a
that I
fan.
really am a fan.
There you
Can I do
go.
my quick hits? Because it's really not.
Maybe.
It's supposed to be quick, but it's not going quick because you keep interrupting with your
I'm
story
having
about
a
bringing
conversation.
obscure stuff for artists to sign.
He's got a reason behind the me giving him a hard time.
I
so
tend to try and bring obscure stuff too,
there you
just
go.
because I don't want to bring like the same thing they've signed 1,000 times. You know.
There you go.
Sweet.
But
You should just bring something they had nothing to do with next time. Did you sign this?
I could do that.
Actually, had that happen.
it's one way to go, but probably not. This is Mother Russia. It's by Alternate Comics. It's a 3-issue limited series. This is the 3rd issue. This was actually really cool. It's a very simple story. It's basically like in 1940, like Stalingrad.
I backed
Zombies
the
have-
Kickstarter this like 5 years ago.
Zombies have taken over, and there's this girl and a baby who are trying to like escape out of Stalingrad with the zombies. So it's very straightforward, but the art's actually pretty decent. Like I really like the art. It's very
Black and white.
Black and white, but I mean, it's very well drawn and
There's
just
some gray in there.
the storytelling is really good. I mean, it's not like it's a junky comic. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just kind of shooting zombies and her trying to escape with this. She meets this general guy and they're kind of team up and trying to get out of there. There's not much to it, but it's just 3 issues. It's kind of fun, good characters, not too deep, but not too much. I don't know. If you want to check out, and the great thing about these alternative press ones is they're only $1.50, so you get all 3 issues for the price of a single comic from Marvel.
Not quite.
Depends on the comic, but
$3.99.
yeah. Well, $4.50. Well, some Marvel books are $4.99.
Okay.
So anyway, Mother Russia, really good. Royal City, I read the latest issue of that, issue 7. This is gone back in time, so we're seeing them as teenagers. This series is really good. I'm still really digging it. It's really fun seeing these characters that we saw as adults and then going back and seeing how they were as teenagers and just their lives and stuff. Very cool, very cool. And this has some cool little sequences too. I guess the kid who's dead, spoiler alert, is having these really bad headaches, and so they're kind of taking him to the doctor. What did we talk about?
That kid's dead.
Yeah, I know. That's what I
So
said.
it's not a spoiler alert. We already spoiled it last time we talked about it.
Okay, it's in the first issue of the series, so
But
it's not
see
really
the
a
one
spoiler.
that looks. Everybody's seen him, and he looks.
But he's a
little
different age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers him at a different stage
stage
in his life.
Yeah.
I caught up on my Mr. Right 9 and 10. Still really funny. Still really entertaining.
What did you think of
The documentary
the
one?
documentary?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun. No, I like Mr. Right. It's really fun. The great thing about Mr. Right, even though the art isn't like super sophisticated or detailed, the writing is just really fun. And the dialogue's just really snappy, and it just really flows. I read a bunch of indie comics, and what I noticed is that Mr. Right is like just fun to read. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
It's just, it's much better written than you might suspect from just glancing at it. So it's really worth checking out, especially if you just kind of want a little bit of lightness or humor in your superhero comics.
Might makes right.
Might makes right. And then I read Frank and Not, the new enhanced version. Have you read that yet?
I didn't get it.
What?
I know. I
So-
feel terrible.
You should feel terrible. But I guess John Osborne,
You didn't buy something?
he did issue 1 like 2 or 3 years ago, and then he teamed up with this Hatfield guy, and they kind of
James
reworked
Hatfield?
it. Kind of, that's Hatfield. Lead singer Metallica. This is a different guy. But anyway, he kind of reworked it, redrew parts of it, recolored it, kind of added some dialogue to kind of, do some bridging. It's much better. It reads a lot. I mean, the other one was good, but this one, it feels like it just feels a little more fleshed out, a little more, together. Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's like one of those greeting cards. You open it up and it plays a Metallica.
There you go.
And I think that's all I need to talk about. I'm good.
Master.
Oh, did I tell you?
No,
backed
you didn't.
Mother Russia on Kickstarter.
You did
like
say
5
that like 10
years
times
ago,
while I was talking about it, yeah.
and I still haven't read it.
So did you get the physical?
But did you
copy?
actually get it?
Was it in color?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
know.
Did you get it as like a
It
trade?
was really small.
Was it a
like-
trade?
I think so.
So the whole 3 issues in one trade?
Maybe. I'll go home and dig it up.
Yeah, you might read it. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It keep
really
getting-
quick read too. There's not much to
I
it.
keep getting Kickstarter updates from that guy.
Oh yeah? Is he doing something else? Is there a Mother Russia part 2?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Maybe.
All right.
Oh yeah, and Chip Reese is famous now apparently.
He is. He is famous now.
Phone ringing off the hook, huh?
Apparently.
That's cool. That's
I
good
think
for it.
It is very cool.
Yeah, I asked him what his fee was for the
I
next
know. I was involved in that.
okay, you were there.
I was involved in that conversation.
Great.
I'm the one that told him he needs to drop a rumor that it's been optioned for a movie.
Yeah,
And
that'd
then
be
we
smart.
can sell our copies
Yes.
of Metaface for like thousands of dollars.
Right. That's a
There you
good
go.
plan.
Or a TV show.
Or a TV show. All right.
But that doesn't work with like Punisher and things because I'd like to dump all my Punisher comics. But
only
That's
the
because
first
they're
appearance.
overprinted.
only the first. Yeah.
All right. I think we're done. You got anything else to babble on about that has no relevance to what we're talking about?
Everything I say has relevance to what we're talking
I
about.
would agree. I mean, this is just kind of whatever.
Well, how'd you get on the whole, like, I like to bring stuff that obscure?
Because
Oh, because I was talking about a Bill
'Cause he was
Willingham.
talking about-
Willingham, and I
yeah.
said I brought Coventry
That's
number
pretty
1.
tangential. Like, we're talking about a Bill Willingham book, so you're like, here's my Bill Willingham story about how I met him, and then I brought a really obscure book for him. It's like, I mean, okay, yeah, that's kind of related.
I thought it was on subject.
Thanks, Scott, but you're Mr. Tangent yourself.
That is true.
For me, that was pretty on point.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess at least it wasn't about a different creator that you.
Right. The guy that was sitting next to Bill
Bill
Willingham
Willingham.
when I had him sign my Coventry book.
Right. Maybe next episode. All right, tune in next week to hear about the guy sitting next to Bill Willingham that Don had an interaction with
So
10 years ago.
I met Bill Willingham and had him sign this book, but the guy sitting next to him was...
Speaking of which,
Okay.
look at this freaking fantastic art there.
Nice. Steve Ellis.
Nice.
Scott got it.
Yeah.
Nice art auction win, Scott.
Congrats.
After the fact.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks.